Hello everybody, I'm just going to speak about my honours project. So I'm going to break it down into three bits, who, what and how. So I'm just going to introduce myself first of all. This was one of the highlights of last semester. It's me eating a full column the caterpillar cake in one go. An Eastern European pub. And then I've got also somebody helping me do it as well. So this is my supervisor. Also in Eastern Europe, as you can see at the top, June 2024. So this is like a very unproductive trip we had, but one thing that we did get out of it is this was the first time I said to him about what I wanted to do for the honours project. So said I want to change my SPI and UX UI and stuff like that. So we've kind of built up a good working relationship since then. If I'm feeling a wee bit burnt out, your topic, I'll go around and speak to him and he'll give me a pat on the back and kind of re-energise. It's a wee bit like a football player and a manager kind of relationship we've got. A wee bit something like this. I'm basically just telling these to use your supervisor.
Don't use them!
Just don't hassle them as much as I do here because I'm always chatting these door. But so this was another bit of advice I got. This was from Mary, but I think she's disappeared. I was going to give her a wee wave. But it's good advice because she basically said a lot of people get caught up in the topic because it's something we're passionate about, but the actual design process is always the main thing. So that a dissertation should be similar no matter what the topic is. So my topic is, I know that looks like Jesus on the cross. it's ethics and like that. It's Dutch guy called Wim Hof, and it represents cold water immersion. So I don't know if anybody's ever tried it. Maybe give us a show if you've ever cold shower and so two people. That's kind of justifies the topic because it's quite there's not a lot of people know much about it. And when I ask people do you do cold showers, they kind of reply with something like this. It's genuinely in Glasgow, that's the most common response I've heard. So basically what I want to do is push people to do this difficult thing by digital design. Obviously digital design or the modern technology, a lot of kind of bad press comes out of it because we're addicted to our phones, but my project's to try and show that the phone addiction can make you do positive things. So basically how can an interactive and educational UX resource motivate people towards cold water immersion? So if you've ever had a conversation with Dave, I'm sure you know what this is. This is how we're going to go about it. So I didn't want to scare people off by mentioning cold water. So the first thing I did was use other apps like Duolingo, Strava, MyFitnessPal. They all help people do things that's maybe a boring task, tracking calories and stuff. So they do it by user psychology basically, and that's what my topic's mainly going to be about. So the responses I got were people enjoy the daily streak feature and progress tracking. So the new product's going to try and implement these to push people to do cold water immersion. And I spoke to people who are actually actively doing it, experts. What they said that they enjoy is the group element, doing it as a community. So if we implement the streak feature with a social community feed, then there's potential for a new product there. So if you're doing the BBC project just now, these terms probably keep you up at night, but these are the terms that will get you through any UX project, and it's, as you can see, I've got halfway through. Next week I'll be doing user tests on prototypes, and obviously the dissertation, maybe do that the night before, but that's where I'm at just now. And just lastly, why I chose this topic, like, for me it's actually something that's helped me get through the past 2 years. Like, obviously today's like a difficult task for always, speaking in front of so many people. So the only way to make this the second most difficult thing that I did today was this. And the timestamp's missing, but that was at 6 o'clock this morning. So as I said, this is the second hardest thing I've done today because I'm still shivering for it. And that's pretty much me, and I'm just going to share my contact details. And I was going to give business cards, but I get told they're shite of a couple of the lecturers. So, if people want to take one of these and pass them about and add me on social media, then thanks.
Thank you for that talk there, Josh. See what streets appear up there for people in mass age category. That means something completely different. You think of like cricket grounds and that's making people remember sporting venues. But anyway, any questions for Josh? Anyone want to try cold water therapy after that? What's that question from? Come on. You're frightening them, Josh. Oh.
So how did you discover cold water therapy, and what kind of made you stick at it and find benefit in it?
So it was about 2019 I discovered the guy Wim Hof and the breathing techniques he does. So like the breathing techniques can actually be implemented for anything, like before you come up and speak here. And obviously if you look him up, he's like Guinness World Records and all that, or defying science. So I just started trying cold showers and felt my mental health went well better, and then just didn't really stop. And like if I know I'm presenting, then I'll do a nice bath before it because it just makes it easier. And like starting your day with something so difficult makes the rest of the day a little bit easier.
You have questions? Cameron?
I'll ask I've also looked into a wee bit of cold water therapy, and recently when looking at fitness different things, there's quite a lot of movement towards hot water therapy instead, so like having hotter showers can give the same kind of benefits. Like I wonder if you've got an opinion on basically.
I didn't speak much about the actual science behind it, but that's what the dissertation was. But like hot water, according to my research, is like a luxury because like humans didn't have that originally. So like the natural kind of human way of like showering or whatever is originally cold. But I think hot or cold can have benefits as well.
Previously, hot water therapy was like candles boiled in soup. Any other questions for Joshua? No.
Just, I don't know if it's a part of your app or not, but how did you find like that group of folk that you go and do cold water therapy? And is there an aspect of your app where you look to find people to connect with and things like that?
So I didn't really expect this, but the research is basically leading towards it's going to be where you go and find communities. It's just one of my pals set it up, but from my research as well, I realised an end goal could be like tourism, so people come to Scotland to do that. It's already a tourist thing in like Finland and so on. So that is potential, I would say, like communities to do it together.
Did you watch the documentary series with the guy from Stillway and his wife? And they'd interviewed loads of different people with like stories and how it's actually helped people with like mobility issues. This woman genuinely couldn't walk, and she was on painkillers for weeks and weeks, and then she did the cold water therapy, and now she doesn't need painkillers and she can walk and stuff. I think you'd have like a section in your app showing like real life stories to maybe like help people like see the benefits.